Hello, thank you for joining Living a Sustainable Dream with the Craftsman Snow Thrower Auger Assembly. We're going to put it back together now. This is part 2 of the Craftsman Snow Thrower repair. I hope you enjoy. I cleaned the gearbox, so I'm going to put the gearbox back together. I'm going to pack this with axle grease. So I got my heavy duty axle grease here, or basically high temperature grease. And then I got also the brake cleaner out so I can clean the gasket off. And I'm going to basically pack it with grease. So I'm just putting in the axle grease here. It's a whole lot smoother. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm taking the key, okay, which will fit right in here. And it's basically smile side down or arc side down. Does not want to go. Take a hammer, ball peen, and a little tap. Take a tap in there. There we go, got it. Now, to keep from sliding out, put that on there, just like so. And that traps it in, so that key is stuck in there now. Now what I need to do, put this in. Pack some grease into that. Good wad there, just put her in. This is black silicone. This is going to fill my gasket up around it. So I'm just building a gasket out of black silicone. That's pretty much what was in it before. So I'm just going to try and squeeze this all around. I'm going to put that on one side, just squish it together. But first, this ready to go. Put the little cap on, gloves, and fit that in there in a second. Then what I'm going to do is just also have paper towels handy, because you don't want to get a towel with all this grease and stuff. I'm going to just take this and just put it on top, just literally there. And put that right in there. Everything should fit right together. Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm just using a brush to clean the lock threads, and I wish I had a smaller brush, but you know, you get these things and you lose them. But for some reason I never lose the big brush. I always lose the little ones, so I always end up using the big brush. So need to go out and get some more brushes. And you need a wire brush, not like a toothbrush, that won't work. You get into those threads, get them all cleared out best you can. Wear gloves, because that will hurt, because when you're brushing the wire brush against your skin, ouch, it's not good. Okay, so I'm just putting the thread lock on, which is this blue stuff that helps keep the threads clean and also to tighten in there without getting them corroded. And I'm just getting it started with my hand, and I'll finish it off, of course, with the ratchet. And tighten that one down. And I'm not tightening it all the way. I want to get all of them pretty much at the same depth of tightening before I just kind of really go over and just ream it together. And I don't want to ream it too much because you don't want to strip out these areas here. So it won't be too tight. Just get it in, make sure it's not cross-threaded. Alright, now you got some of that gasket stuff there. Rub it into the groove. Get all the extra stuff here. And that is a finished gearbox. So I'm just going to put a light coating of axle grease on this, all the way down on both sides. There's a little bit from when I actually applied the gearbox, but I just wanted to make sure it's nice and coated. Not too much, but good enough. Alright, now I think I remember the sequence for it pretty well, so I'm going to go ahead and put it back together the way I think it goes. At least I set everything aside so it makes sense. Okay, so that spacer goes on. Make sure the bushing is inside here, and the other bushing is inside here. Push it through, and it should line up right there. Okay, and same thing with this side. Just going to do both sides at the same time, just so it's even. And sure I got both bushings here. And it should line up to the holes for the shear pins. Okay, or pretty close. Alright. And then, I believe it's 3 spacers. And that will go here. 3 spacers. Here. Okay. Right there like that. Okay. Now, put it in. Is lining up the holes here. Okay. Grease here. Starting to turn. Sticking that wood in so I can get a good brace on there. There we go. What do you think, bud?
Yeah. It's cool.
I found a new belt. And how do you do that? So I called Sears up. They didn't have it because I bought the Craftsman at Sears. They had a few, but they didn't have this one. So what I did is I called up one of my friends from church who does this stuff for a living. And I said, hey, do you got any spare belts over there that I could buy? And so he sold me this belt. And I was able to basically get it without shipping or waiting for it to ship another 2 days. I went down there today. That's why it's dark outside now. Went to another store, got the axle grease, got the gasket, the black silicone for the gasket, and I also bought the brake cleaner at that time too. all on the recommendations of my friend. So thank you, Herb, for that. I'm going to go ahead and put the belt on now. So to get the belt on, you need to have that guide that keeps it in there when the tensioner is loose. And I'm going to put that in like that. Okay, and it could actually take your shirt if you're not careful. Put this back on. Once you get one of these ratchet wrenches, they are so awesome. I can't give them up. So it makes each job easier. So I got the belt on there. So when it's used, that's great. But when it gets loose, that thing there keeps that belt from flying off the wheel. So you definitely want that piece. If you're missing a piece and you feel like your belt keeps flying off, or you keep losing your belt, it could be because you're missing that bolt there. How to get this back on? Here. So I'm going to go ahead and hook the spring up first to the brake. So I'm going to pull the brake down, and there's a hole there, obviously for the spring to get into, but it's a little bit tricky. I think I need a third hand. Can I have your hand?
Mm-hmm.
So I need you to push this right here. Can you keep it pushed? There we go, let go. Okay. Right now. There we go. Are you kidding me? This is easy now. Wow, that is, I'm not complaining. Whoever built this did a good job making it pretty smooth. There we go. Okay. That's done. Thank you so much for joining us for my very first teardown of my snowblower's front auger assembly. This is the Craftsman 28-inch, and it went probably the smoothest teardown I've ever done for a first time ever. Very easy to follow. There was no instructions on how to take this thing apart. There was no guideline. There was nothing. I just studied it. Studied the link that I'm going to show you of, I think it's Donny Boy, who did his teardown on an MTD snowblower, and it went relatively easy. So just so you guys know, it's not that difficult. You can do it. Now it's time to get this thing out of the house. It's the moment of truth.